Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Tuesday, February 22nd, and this local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer. Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. The Bunnell Police Department is poised to have a new leader.
David Brannon II of the Volusia County Sheriff's Office has been selected for the job. He was handpicked after a panel of interviews. The department's last choice for the job, Michael Walker, walked off the job just days after he was confirmed. City Manager Alvin Jackson says Brannon is a seasoned law enforcement officer with a strong track record of helping reduce crime.
Over 26 years of experience with the Volusia Sheriff's Office, and man, we are just really excited about what he brings to the city. He served as the district commander over the city of Deltona, which was like a chief position.
Jackson called him a collaborative team player who brings a service style of leadership to the chief's job.
As I'm looking for a professional, experienced law enforcement officer with a track record of really helping to reduce crime and to make our city a very safe community. Also, I'm looking for a great leader. And man, I can tell you in talking with him and as we interviewed him, it's very clear that he's collaborative, he's a team player, and he brings that servant leader attitude to this community. So we're really, really excited about him starting with us here at the City of Bunnell.
If confirmed by the City Commission after their meeting next week, Brannon would be sworn in the very next day. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
What do you want Flagler County to look like 10 years from now? That's what the county is asking as it works to develop its next strategic plan. Lacey Martin, Marketing Media Manager for the county, says they want to hear from you.
The purpose of these is to get input from our residents and feedback on what they want to see done here in Flagler County and have a say in our strategic plan. People can give their input on basically anything within the government. What we're trying to do here is build public trust. And if we have a lot of feedback on roads and swales and water drainage issues, we need to know that so that we can specifically address these issues with our strategic plan. And it encompasses many arenas, including customer service.
They're hosting two upcoming events, one March 1st at 1:30 in Commission Chambers in the Government Services Building in Bunnell. A second meeting will be held March 3rd at 6 p.m. in the Waterfront Room at the Palm Coast Community Center. Palm Coast is growing, and it's got a former city councilman on staff to deal with that growth. Jason DiLorenzo is the city's chief development officer. But what does the chief development officer do?
Because it's a strange title, right? A chief development officer in other businesses is usually it's a fundraising position. So a lot of people don't really understand it right away. So I usually just go, I manage the community development department, which includes planning, building, code, zoning.
DiLorenzo serves as both a voice for the home builders and developers. He tells us a little bit more about what discussions with developers look like.
This is the property we're looking at. This is what we'd like to do. Is that a fit for the city? Does that match the comprehensive plan, the vision for the city? We just go through that. And then the next step is yes or no. And there's no's. Okay, well, we'll come back in a couple months with the drawing, and then they'll take that next step and point out some of the particulars of our code that would, help them get a good product.
And are Palm Coast roads ready for all of this projected growth?
One thing that ITT did really well is provided us with large right-of-ways, so for the opportunities to grow the roads when it was necessary. We were planned to be a much larger community than we are now, so we still have a long way to go. All of our projects include impact fees, for transportation, which will help us pay for that growth when it comes on. The tricky part is when you have a fast growth that we've had recently, kind of gives you a little bit of growing pains from time to time. But we have projects that we're working on to expand.
One of those projects, the expansion of Old Kings Road. Why was Palm Coast interim city manager chosen for the job permanently?
Interim manager Denise Bevan is taking over the job on a permanent basis. Mayor David Alphen says the city council is glad that Denise took the job.
Denise had such a steady hand on the tiller that she instilled great confidence to the point where the announcement energized staff, motivated them, and allowed them to come together in a way that I've not seen. I mean, there was literally a gauntlet of supporters throughout the entire second floor of City Hall, which is delightful to see.
Chief of Staff Lauren Johnston concurs.
As soon as the appointment was official, Denise walked upstairs and we were all applauding her. Staff is very joyful in this appointment.
Alphen emphasized the importance of having both a good manager and support personnel.
Staff sits in the background of the meeting and they actually drive the meeting in terms of the information. And before that, all of the preparation that they do, that's what drives the agenda for each meeting. So I think City Council has come together to listen intently, to study, to get ready for the decision making that happens during our public meetings.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
A school attack a couple of years ago focuses the Flagler County Sheriff's Department.
The department's commander, Michael Lutz, said on a recent episode of the Flagler Voice that the attack on the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School that killed 17 just over 3 years ago has become a teaching tool.
It's a 2-hour presentation, and we get pretty much in the weeds about what's happened, past ones, characteristics of these shooters to look for, and what happens if you are in the middle of one.
Lutz goes back to people being aware of their surroundings. He said that an attack on a school, a church, a mosque, a synagogue, or any place where many are gathered is a sad reality of the day and age. Lutz said that when you hear or see something, react to it because it could save your life. Listen to the Flagler Voice on Saturday mornings at 8:30 on WNZF, anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, Lutz talks about why they're called active assailants. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.